Hello everybody and welcome to another week of Business English 2. I hope you're all well and I hope you're all enjoying the course and finding it beneficial and hopefully improving some of your business language, business skills and problem solving in relation to business English. So I hope that's all going well for you. So we're into week 7 now, and we're going to be looking at advertising. Before we start, just want to say thank you for those students that contributed to the forum post about InStep's relocation. Some great answers there. Again, lots of positive feedback, lots of great stuff to learn. So keep doing what you're doing, guys, and keep commenting on everyone's work. Really good. Really enjoy reading them. Some really interesting ideas there. So guys, keep accessing that and keep reading all your peers' posts. So really good job there, guys. Yeah, just a reminder, really, like I always do, reminded to access all that learning material that's on iClass. You got the PPTs to work through. You got extra stuff in your book if you want to continue that. You got the pre-reading, you got the extra reading. Sometimes you got the business profiles all loaded up onto iClass. It's all there for you to keep improving your business English. So keep accessing that. And again, we mentioned the forum. That's been really well done. So yeah, keep accessing those forums and writing your answers up there. So really well done, everyone. Just keep it up. Keep up the great work. And just remember, this video, it's just a kind of a walkthrough, a talk through of the bare minimum I want you to do. I want you to do that independent learning too. So everyone seems to be doing really well with that, so well done. Yeah, another little reminder, obviously it's week 7 now. Coming up in the next week or so is going to be the midterm exams. I'm not going to really talk about it now because I'm going to send out a message and a video just kind of talking you through the midterm exams, so you're all ready for them. So I'll be doing that shortly. So don't worry about the midterms. We'll get to that in a very shortly, and you'll be fully aware of what we're doing. Okay. So yeah, let's make a start then. So talking about all that extra work and the extra learning materials posted on iClass. Hopefully some of you got round to reading about this, the pre-reading for this topic, which is advertising. And in the pre-reading there was actually a lot of vocabulary in there. Stuff like billboards, sponsorship, product placement, product endorsement, direct and indirect marketing, word of mouth. There was so much in there. Advertising campaigns, lots and lots of vocabulary in that pre-reading. So hopefully you all read that and you've got a good understanding of some of the language we're going to be using in this course and you understand what it means. So let's make a start on this week's unit, advertising. Things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about authentic advertisements. We're going to look at advertising practices. We're going to look at starting presentations, and we're going to look at developing an ad campaign in the case study, which is going to roll into the forum posts and the writing assignment if you want to do it. Yeah, I like this unit, advertising. It's quite an interesting one. So there's a lot of creativity again with this one, and a lot of vocabulary, business vocabulary, and interesting things we can do with that. So let's make a start and let's look at advertising. So we've got the first one then. First question is, what is advertising? So there's an advertisement right there for Kit Kat Chunky Caramel. Oh, I love Kit Kats, my favourite chocolate. So made in my hometown actually. Anyhow, question is, what is advertising? So I want you to spend some time. What do you think advertising is? Can you think of some examples of advertising? See if you can make a definition of what you think advertising is. If you're struggling a little bit, go on the internet, Google it, and see if you can get a definition that you think is good, you think really covers what advertising is. When you found one that you like, write it down and maybe make some points, some notes on it, why you think it's a good definition. Let's have a look at the definition I found. Wells and William, they said advertising is a form of communication intended to persuade an audience to purchase or take some action upon a product, idea or service. I like that. I like that definition. It's got its a kind of communication. It doesn't specify exactly what it is, what communication, but it's some kind of communication. Could be radio, TV, and it's trying to persuade someone. It's trying to make someone do something, make an audience do something, whether it's an action or whether it's buying something, and that something could be a product, it could be an idea, it could be a service. So I think that's a really good definition of what advertising is. It really covers all the ideas of advertising. So for me, that's a good one. Maybe you can find a better one though. See if you can find a better advertising definition for you. For me, I think Wells and William, they've done it well. Once you've found that, why are we studying about advertising in business English? Well, there you go. There's some statistics there. In 2019, spending on advertising was estimated at more than $200 billion in the US and $600 billion worldwide. So there you go. Big business. There's a lot of money involved in the advertising industry. So that's why we're looking at it. It's obviously a very important part of business. And you've got a very famous advert there, the Marlboro Man, the Marlboro Cowboy, advertising cigarettes. Obviously, advertising laws have changed. You don't really see cigarettes being advertised like that anymore. It's actually illegal to advertise on smoking on TV or radio and cinemas these days in England. So, but there you go. There's a few statistics about why we're studying advertising. Reasons behind advertising. We've got commercial advertisers seeking to generate increased consumption of their products or services. So again, going back to that definition I just showed you, they're trying to influence an audience or persuade an audience to pick their product, to pick their service and consume it and spend their money. Advertising is often linked to branding and reputation of an image or a product's name, or to associate qualities with that brand. So there you go. So it's trying to put across an image and a reputation and associate certain qualities with a brand. I picked Guinness here because I really think Guinness are like masters at advertising. Guinness beer, long time ago, that advertising is obviously not static, it's completely changing. But long time ago, they had a reputation of Guinness is good for you, Guinness gives you strength, goodness. Just healthy images, friendly images of Guinness. And they had an image of being very, very healthy and good for you. Obviously, we know alcohol is not a particularly good thing for you to consume in large quantities, but it had this Guinness had this reputation of being an incredibly healthy drink, and so much so that this is a true story. When my mum was pregnant with me, they the doctor recommended that she drunk half a pint of Guinness once or twice a week because it was really healthy. It had a lot of iron, the same kind of vitamin mineral that's in Miokguk. So that's how strong the advertising and brand image and the healthy quality was associated with it. Even doctors were recommending it to pregnant women. Obviously many years ago now. They don't do it now in England. I think doctors know better now. But there you go, a great example of branding and a product with an image through advertising. These days they've kind of changed now, and they've gone for more sophisticated, luxurious marketing, and now Guinness is seen as like a high quality, luxurious drink. So there you go. Really, really interesting example of advertising and branding and with equality. So I like that idea. Yeah, and they were great, Guinness. When I was a student, they every year they would give every student 2-3 pints of Guinness free. They come to the university and you could have I think it was 2 or 3 pints of Guinness, 3 drinks of Guinness for free. And yeah, I liked it then, and I still drink Guinness now regularly. So yeah, very, very good marketing and advertising. So moving on from the Guinness example, got like non-commercial advertisers as well, such as political parties, interest groups, religious organizations, government agencies, and these seek to communicate an idea in an attempt to convince people to take a certain action. And there you go, I put another very famous example from England. There you go, your country needs you, come join the army, God save the king, and this advertising was very, very influential, and lots of young men signed up for the army, came to fight for England and died. So very successful at getting people to actually join the army. So there you go, there's another example of advertising, selling an idea to people to make them do something that they want them to do. Maybe you can think of your own examples from Korea or wherever you're from. So write some ideas of famous advertisers, maybe commercial, non-commercial. So I gave you the example of Guinness. You got the non-commercial kind of political one that I've just shown you there about joining the army. Can you think of any famous examples from your country? Again, write them down. What were they doing? What kind of action were they trying to instigate with it? There you go. So see what ideas you can come up with. Jot them down in your notebooks or journals. Okay, once you finish that, moving on, we got the first question. So in your book, which advert do you like the best and why? So you got George Clooney doing Nespresso, you got Stop the Gun, so with the bullet, some kind of anti-gun lobby probably. You've got Cadbury's Cream Egg, you've got Heinz Ketchup, and you've got Apple there. So which one do you like and why? For me personally, I think the Heinz Ketchup one jumps out at me. Very, very clever advertisement that. The way they've sliced up the ketchup bottle really makes you feel, you can still see what the product is, you still know it's Heinz ketchup, tomato ketchup, but the way they've sliced it up, it really gives the image that there's a lot of fresh tomatoes in there, it's a healthy product. They've got the little slogan under, no one grows ketchup like Heinz, again, grows tomatoes. It's kind of really selling that idea that the ingredients are natural and fresh and healthy, but we all know ketchup is just sugar and salt, and there's very little tomatoes in there. So it's selling a product in one way, very clever, through the image and the way they've wrote the slogan, the words they've chosen. It's selling it as a very natural product, but in fact, it's not really a very healthy, natural product. There's a lot of processed ingredients in there. So I think that's a very, very clever advertisement there. So that's my idea. But what about you? Which advertisement do you like, and why do you think like it? Why do you think it's clever? Okay, so once you finish that, move on. Oh, just getting back to that, I'm just guessing, but my wife's a big George Clooney fan, so I'm going to guess she's going to say, and she likes coffee, so I would guess my wife would choose that one, because again, good looking, sophisticated, George Clooney, so a good product endorsement there, a good choice of star to do it. So there you go, there's just a few ideas. Once you're finished, move on. And you got, what different advertising medium are there? So what are people using to advertising? Okay, where are they doing it? Okay, so example, TV would be one example out there. Radio, two examples that we've already talked about. Can you think of any more medium where people are advertising? Yeah, see if you can make a list. There's so many, and jot them down and see what ideas you can come up with. Once you've finished, page 44, the vocabulary section, it's asking you in a little bit more detail. It's asking you to add the words to the correct group. So you've got the media here, the method here, and verbs here to do with advertising. So example, the media, cinema. An advertising method would be advertorials, and a verb, endorse a product, like product endorsement, like we talked about with George Clooney in Nespresso. There you go, a great example of that right there. So maybe a good way to think about it is think about the media as where it's happening and the methods of how it's happening. There you go. So again, work through those using the book, and you can check your answers in the PPT uploaded on iClass. A little bit difficult, this one. So yeah, go through, check your answers, make sure you're happy and your understanding of all the terms. And if you don't understand it, again, go onto Google and just check your understanding. Make sure you understand what they all mean. And once you've finished that, match the methods of advertising to the correct advertising media. So how it's being done, where it's being done. So we looked at advertorials before as a method, and what's the media? Well, the media would be press, such as newspapers or magazines, those printed press things. Banner ads, that would be a method. Where would it be? Internet. So that would be the media. Again, you can go on to the PPTs and check all your answers of them, and then see if you can think of some examples of them. Where have you seen it? You know, can you think of any examples where it's actually been relevant? You've actually seen it in real life, and again, write them down. Write those ideas down. You know, we looked at product placement before with George Clooney, but where did you see it? What was the media used for that product placement? See if you can go through them, answer them all, and then check your ideas on the check your answers on the PPT, and think of where you've seen them. real life examples. So once you finish that, choose the most suitable words to complete these sentences. Again, vocabulary section, page 45E. We did number 1 as an example. A lot of cosmetic companies give away free samples so that customers can try the products before they buy. You see this in duty free, I would say, in some of the department stores in Korea, Lotte, Shinsegae. You can see these free samples being given out. I think probably the time that I've really noticed this happening would be Costco and E-Mart Trader, especially the beef. When they cook up the beef and give free samples, everyone's queued up there to get their free beef, and the big queues form. So there you go. That could be two kinds of examples of those free samples in use. See if you can think of some other examples. Okay, once you're happy with that, you can move on. And brainstorm suggestions of what you think makes a good TV advertisement. So, what do you think makes a good TV advertisement? Is it being clever, or interesting, funny, inspiring, eye-catching, original, controversial, sexy, informative, shocking, strange, powerful? There's all different ways they make them these TV advertisements good. Can you think of some other examples of what you think makes a good TV advertisement? And then can you think of examples of those TV advertisements? Again, I'm trying to think of an example. There you go. Tropicana drinks a few years ago. They were kind of eye-catching, funny. There was like drinks doing a funny dance. Really eye-catching and kind of funny and original. And my daughter was, every time she went in a CU mat, she said, "Oh, Dad, I want a Tropicana drink." Why did she want Tropicana? Well, she remembered it from the advertisement. So yeah, that might be one example I can think of as good. And can you think of any other things? I would say a catchy song. A catchy song is very good. Home. I won't sing it to you, but the Home Plus song, you know the song, and Sanhua Morning. Very catchy songs, catchy tunes, gets people singing them. You hear that song, bang, you think of that company. So, and that advertisement. So yeah, that might be another example of what makes a good TV advertisement. Shocking. Yeah, I remember one from England. It shocked me. It was about texting while you drive. And it was don't text while you drive. And it started a group of girls going to a party, and they're texting their friend, the driver's texting a friend while she drives, and then bang, the advertisement just changes and they have a car crash. And there's dead people in the car, there's blood, broken legs. It was horrific. It was very shocking. There's a dead mother with a baby that's alive. It was one of the most shocking advertisements I've ever seen. But I did think it was a very good advertisement. Although it was difficult to watch, it really brought that message of don't text and drive. And it was a very successful TV advertisement, even though people really struggled to watch it because it was so shocking. So maybe shocking can be good too. So there's a few examples of advertisements on TV that I thought were good. and reasons for them. See if you can think of some of your own ideas, brainstorm some ideas, and see what ideas you can come up with. Once you're happy with that, move on. And again, it's asking you for more examples. It's asking you for, so you've just given some examples of famous TV. Hopefully you thought of some famous TV advertisements and why they were good, and put those descriptions to it. Now think of some examples of viral campaigns, clever slogans, and sponsorship of sporting or cultural teams or events. There you go, viral campaigns. Can I think of one that was very famous? Ice Bucket Challenge would be one. It's a few years old now, but incredibly successful. For Lou Gehrig's disease, I can't remember exactly. It was something like a muscle disease, and it got people to tip ice water over them, and famous people got involved and they posted the videos up on YouTube. I would say that's a very famous example of a viral campaign. Again, clever slogans. Carlsberg is up there, probably the best beer in the world. I'm loving it. McDonald's, that would be a famous one. I don't know if it's very clever, but Soul is Icy Soul. Oh, I can't remember it now. I've forgotten Souls, but I think Incheon's was Fly Incheon a few years ago. I don't know if they've changed that one. So you got some famous slogans. What kind of slogans can you remember? Sponsorship of sporting or cultural teams event. A few years ago now, but Samsung sponsoring Chelsea football team. That was a really a big deal there, and I think it's Yokohama. Oh no, they changed again. So it was Yokohama tires after Samsung, and then it's now telecommunications 3 the sponsorship of Chelsea now. So there you go. I can remember all the I'm not a Chelsea fan neither, but I can remember their sponsorship on their shirt. So can you think of any other examples of sponsorship of sporting or cultural teams? Big one in Korea would be baseball, SK sponsoring Incheon, and all the big teams have sponsorship behind them. So can you think of any examples of those? When you're happy, move on, but don't forget, make some notes, jot your ideas down so you don't forget them. And if you can't think of any, go on the internet and find some. There's lots out there. Next, looking at advertising practices and kind of morals in advertising. So which ones do you think are acceptable or maybe not acceptable? So using children in advertisements, using actors who pretend to be experts. What else have we got? Subliminal advertisement, promoting alcohol on TV. Where are your morals on some of these? Do you think they're acceptable, or maybe they're not acceptable? Actually, I have quite a lot of friends who whose children are in advertisements, and they do work quite long hours. So is that really right? Do you think it's acceptable? Subliminal advertising, making you think something, making you do your actions without even really telling you they're doing it. I think that could be very, very unmoralistic, really, and if they allow it, it could be used to do quite bad things. So I would say that's probably not. Promoting alcohol on TV, again, it doesn't really promote a realistic portrayal of alcohol and some of its bad side effects. It's just got these happy, good-looking people enjoying a beer, drinking, one-shotting beer. But should it really be doing that? Where's your morals on these? Have a read through those and see what ideas and what thoughts you have on them. Obviously, very, very subjective. Everyone's going to have a different opinion on these. So make your own opinion of acceptable or unacceptable advertising practices. Okay, quite a difficult one that, but once you finish, make some notes and move on. And we're looking at those slogans again. So, there we go. Can you guess the companies that created these advertising slogans? So we already looked at one, probably the best beer in the world, Carlsberg. Another example, don't leave home without it, American Express, very famous. Can you think of these other ones? Super famous, Finger Looking Good, It's the Real Thing, I'm Loving It, the world's local bank, the best a man can get, have it your way. Look at those slogans and see if you can guess who created them, which companies. And then think about your others. Can you think of any more slogans that are famous and which companies produced them? There you go. When you finish, move on. Next one is focusing on a celebrity endorsement. Which celebrities from your country are used in advertising? What are the advantages, disadvantages for a company? Okay, so there you go. I put an example of Kim Yuna, the queen of celebrity endorsement. You got, there you go. We talked about that. Alcohol, promoting alcohol. Kim Yuna doesn't strike me as somebody that drinks a particularly a lot of alcohol, but there you go. She's advertising for Height. She's advertising bagels. She's advertising makeup, and I'm not quite sure what that is. It looks like more kind of makeup. So what are the advantages and disadvantages for companies? Kim Yuna, she's really lending her image to the product. So everyone thinks Kim Yuna is nice and healthy and clean living, and by advertising that beer, she's putting those qualities onto the beer as well. So there you go. That may be one advantage. A disadvantage of Kim Yuna is I presume she's incredibly expensive. So the fee for her to promote a product, endorse a product, must be massive. So there you go. You got one example of an advantage, one example of a disadvantage. Can you think of some more? And write them down. Jot your ideas down. There's a lot of note making today, but there's a lot of interesting things to think about and write some notes on. Okay, once you finish the vocabulary section, move on to the listening section on page 47. And the listening section is all about how advertising works. So you got Marco Rimini, he sounds Italian. So Marco Rimini, an advertising executive, talking about what makes a good campaign, how to plan a campaign, and recent successful campaigns. So listen to him talk and see if you can fill in the missing spaces. Again, just click on the speaker, press play.
What are the key elements of a really good advertising campaign?
When I answer the question of what really makes a good advertising campaign,
and you can listen to him, Marco, talking. So listen to him, see if you can complete those missing spaces using the PPT. Once you're finished, you got another one. What reasons are there for advertising apart from selling a product? There you go. And he lists a number of reasons. See if you can see what he says and write your answers down. And then again, listen to him again about how advertising works and what are the 4 stages of a typical advertising campaign. Again, you can check all of your answers on the PPT, or they're all on the PPT. So work through the PPT answering the questions. Okay, then we got an example of a viral campaign, and we got some questions. What is a viral campaign? We talked a little bit about it, so hopefully you kind of got the idea of what a viral campaign is. But maybe here you kind of need a definition. So go onto the internet, see if you can get a good definition of what a viral campaign is, or make one up yourself. You can check your answer again on the PPT. And then it gives an example of the Ronaldinho Nike viral campaign, and it asks, why was it so successful? And what did the people argue about? So you can watch the campaign. There you go. You can watch it by clicking play, and then see if you can answer the questions. This is super famous. When I was young, it was all anybody talked about. When I was a little bit younger, and in England, everybody talked about this viral campaign. And why was it so successful? And what were we talking about? What were people arguing about? And then have a think, what company is being advertised? Look at it carefully, and what is it advertising? It's a really interesting one, this. And viral campaigns now are quite common, but this was one of the first, and it's still one of the most watched viral campaigns ever on the internet. So have a look at that, make some notes, answer the questions, then see if you can, and then check your answers. Okay, then on page 48, there's a language review. Have a look at it. Just make sure you're happy with articles. Difficult. Articles are very difficult, especially for Korean speakers. It's a big, difficult things to do for Korean speakers. So just have a read through. There's lots of questions there that you can answer if you wish, but just get yourself a good understanding. I'm not going to dwell too much on the on the language sections, because I know a lot of you have studied grammar heavily throughout your English education. So I'm gonna it's there for you to look through and to work through if you wish to do so. And you can read about them on page 148 too. Okay, so here we go then. In the skills section, we got starting and structuring presentations. And have a think about preparing business presentations. What factors do you need to consider when preparing business presentations? Can you think of any? One that strikes me is knowing your audience would be a big one. So who are you presenting to? Because that really influences how you put that information across, how you present the information. It affects the time that you're going to do it. It affects the language you're going to use. It affects the topic you're gonna do it on. So I think knowing your audience before you start the presentation is key. Can I think of an example of that? I would say kindergarten presentations. I've been to a few recently, and the boss of the kindergarten was just in many kindergartens that I went to, and they're talking to the parents, but they seem to forget the audience is also the children. And these children have a maximum of 10 to 15 minutes concentration time, and they just talk for 30, 40 minutes, and the kids are going mad and running around, which means that the parents are not really listening to the presentation because they're having to look after their children and stop them misbehaving. So there you go. That would be one example of not really getting your audience well. If you're going to present to kindergarten audience, maybe 10, 15 minutes maximum would be a time limit. And keep it fun, keep it interesting, keep the kids involved rather than getting them bored and so they distracting the parents as well. That would be one thing you need to prepare. Good PPTs would be another, and visual aids. Visual aids, you can tell us so much information in those PPTs, in those visual aids. So I would say preparing PPTs. Those are just a few examples of things that I think you need to consider. Have a think about what you think you need to consider when preparing a business presentation. See if you can get a list of maybe 5, 10, 15 things. Okay, once you've wrote those ideas down, move on. And we've got an examples of opening a presentation. If you click on here, you can listen to 2 presentations. Again.
1. Could I have your attention, please? Right. Good morning, everyone.
So there you go. You got one example followed by another example. And the question is, how do they differ? So listen carefully to them and why are they different? See what ideas you can come up with and why are they different, and can you give the examples of how they're different? And again, write them down, jot them down. Once you're happy with that, move on. And it says decide which of the useful presentation language is formal or informal. So on behalf of myself and Focus Advertising, I'd like to welcome you. My name is Sven Larsen. Well, that's an example of formal. And you've got, hi everyone, I'm Dominic Larange. Good to see you all. Informal. See if you can work through the others. Which ones are formal, which ones are informal. And again, if you look at the book, there's more work to do. If you want to do more, please feel free, do some more. Okay? There's a lot of interesting language there and stuff that will really, really help you in your business presentations when you do them. Especially if you're doing Business English 1, which you will be doing a business presentation in. So, there you go. When you finish, moving on, and we're looking at the case study today, which is Alpha Advertising. So, this is the case study. Let's have a look at it. So, a little bit of background. You can read it on page 50. The advertising agency's name is Alpha Advertising, located in Turin, Italy. It's got a reputation for imaginative and effective ad campaigns. Situation, it's competing for several new contracts, advertising contracts. And the task is, as a member of the creative team at Alpha Advertising, create an advertising campaign for one of the products or services. So you have to create a campaign, an advertising campaign for either Panther ebook or Safe Haven hotels. There's lots of information there for you to read about and find out about those. So you have to create a campaign for one of these. And some of the key questions that you really need to think about is what is the campaign's key message? What special features does the product service have? Who's your target audience? What media are you going to use? Special promotions you might use at the start of the campaign. Anything we've kind of looked through today, which is a lot, you know, product placement, product endorsement, sponsorship, billboards, any of those things you can incorporate into your advertising campaign. It's completely up to you, but why are you going to do it? And this rolls into the forum post. So this week's forum post, on the forum page on iClass, write 300 words and create an advertising campaign for Panther Air, the ebook, or Safe Haven Hotels, and think about your campaign in detail, justify and explain your choices. So again, how are you going to advertise these things? Just one, you just need to choose one, and why? Why are you going to make the choice? Do you think George Clooney, for example, would be a good endorser of Safe Haven Hotel? If so, why? Maybe he'd be better for Panther Air. Well, if you're going to choose Panther Air, why would George Clooney be better? Again, create a campaign, completely up to you. Be creative, be interesting, be original, and justify your choices in those 300 words. Again, once you've replied to the question on the forum, you'll be able to read other students' posts and see their advertising campaign and their justifications for their choices. And yeah, that's the forum post today. It's a really interesting one, and it's a very creative one today. And there's a lot of language, a lot of issues we've covered. You know, you can get viral campaigns in there. You could get TV advertising campaigns. If so, again, look at the qualities you're gonna put into your TV advertising campaign. Maybe you could touch on some of the moralistic issues that you think we wouldn't do that because of your image as a company, your brand image. You know, what kind of brand image are you trying to give? There's so much to cover in this forum post and this case study. So really be creative, be imaginative, and use the language that we've looked at today. That would be really key to getting a good answer in this, I think, and a good justifications. If you like it, after you finish the forum post and you like it, you can do it as your writing option as well. What you need to do is, as the leader of one of Alpha Advertising team, prepare a summary of your advertising concept for the managing director. Again, you can use a lot of the stuff that you put in the forum post this week to answer this writing assignment. So it's quite an interesting one. It's quite a good one to do. Again, you can see an example of a business summary on page 131, but that's just a very basic example. I'm looking for a really high quality piece of work for this. Remember, it's only one assignment for the course, and that's due week 14. Okay, so if you like this case study, you can do it as your writing assignment after you've answered the forum question as well. Okay, I think that's about it for today. I think we've covered everything that I want you to look at this week. If you've got any problems or questions or anything you think I can help you with, drop me a cacao, drop me an email, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. Yeah. Remember, access all that learning material. There's so much out there. Don't forget the forum post, which is deadline would be on Sunday evening. But get in there early, and then you can read everybody else's. You can get feedback off people and me. So yeah, the earlier you post, the better, really. But make it as good as you can. A reminder that midterms are coming shortly, but I'll send out a separate email, a post about that, so you're all fully aware of what's happening for the midterms. Okay, lots of work to do this week. Good luck, guys. I hope you enjoy it. Hope it's interesting for you. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you all soon. Okay. Take care, guys, and keep up the hard work. Bye-bye.